Good morning, guys. This is Miss Western. This is Monday, April 26th, and we're going into week 4 of this whole new schedule. Technically week 14, but week 4 of, having this new schedule and teachers being in person. So this week is going to look a tiny bit different because we are not going to meet on Wednesday. So, with JCPS in general not having school on Friday because of Oaks, um, the in person students that come Thursday and Friday typically are going to come Wednesday and Thursday of this week, meaning that teachers aren't going to be home on Wednesday. We're going to be in school with our in-person students. So on Wednesday, we are not going to meet. All right. So I actually just had my Monday meeting, and this week we are also going to have like a little kind of a different assignment. So hopefully that you all like as well. So in Unit 7, we've been talking about our freedom and equality, the same thing. And our supporting questions, we've talked about civil rights movement, we talked about minority groups, we talked about some of the laws, court cases, executive action, so on. So we are going to do a little project, and this project is going to help us, or it's going to be like an alternative of a test that we would usually have after we're done with a unit. Okay, so we're going to do a little project. So it's going to look like this. Here's the instructions. All right, so I posted it to you all. Here's the instruction sheet, and then here's going to be where you go to your Google slide that you're going to edit and do your project in. Okay, so the instructions are: you are going to pick one of the 4 movements that we've talked about throughout this unit. So we've talked about the gay rights movement with the LGBTQ plus community. We've talked about the Chicano movement for Mexican Americans. We've talked about the women's liberation movement for women, and then the civil rights movement with African Americans. So you're going to choose one of these movements, and you're going to answer or just kind of make your own little like PowerPoint. All right. So again, it's going to be right here. It'll take you to what looks like this, just a blank PowerPoint. All right. I put the directions. So if you look at the instructions, it tells you what to put for each slide. I also put this under each of the slides. So number 1, slide 1, you'll put your title, your chosen movement, and your name. Slide 2, we're going to talk about what were the inequalities your chosen minority group faced and what was done to try to correct these inequalities. Okay, so you're going to talk about inequalities. One thing I put in the instructions is to make sure you add these things in each of these slides. So make sure your slide has color. I want to see your all's kind of personality come out in this little project. I want you to put a picture. So I'll show you in a second how to put pictures into a PowerPoint. But pictures, just kind of, if you talk about your leader, maybe put a picture of your leader on slide 4. What were inequalities? If they were facing desegregation, maybe put, a picture showing desegregation and so on. So I want you to put a picture on each slide. You don't have to do it on slide 1. More than welcome to if you do want to, though. And then this is really important. Make sure you have at least 3 sentences or 3 bullets for each slide. Again, with slide 1 kind of being the exception. So slide 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Make sure you have some color. Make sure you have at least 1 picture per each slide, and then at least 3 sentences or 3 bullets per each slide as well. So going back, slide 2, we're going to talk about what were the inequalities your chosen minority group faced, what was done to try to correct these inequalities. Again, make sure you have 3 bullet points. So talk about maybe 3 different types of inequalities that they faced. For example, let's actually talk about it. maybe if you chose the gay rights movement, they faced inequalities as, they couldn't get married. They couldn't, we talked about liquor laws. They couldn't even come together and, have a drink together at a bar because it was disorderly to be gay, or so on. Civil rights movement, desegregation, so on. Three. So name at least three interesting facts about your chosen movement. This is really vague because I want you all to learn stuff about your chosen movement. Okay, I want you to learn about it. So, three interesting facts to you about your movement, something maybe you didn't know or whatever it is. Remember, 3 sentences or 3 bullet points, put a picture, put some color in it, all that. Slide 4, name a popular leader/figure during your chosen movement. What did they do to become a popular leader/figure? So if you choose the Chicano movement, there's Cesar Chavez. He could be your leader, and you're going to talk about him. Maybe you're going to have 3 bullet points or 3 sentences talking about him. And maybe put a little picture of him over here. All right. Slide 5, name and talk about an event that happened during your chosen movement. So we talked about maybe with the civil rights movement, there was the March on Washington for that MLK organized. So, that could be your title, and then you'll talk about 3 sentences or 3 bullet points for the March on Washington, or, whatever event that your movement maybe had. Slide 6 is name a law that was trying to get passed during this movement. Explain what the law was trying to do or did for this minority group to be more accepted. So, civil rights movement, you could talk about the Civil Rights Act of 1864. This was to try to desegregate and stop racism going on in the South, especially. So you could talk about that. 3 sentences, 3 bullet points, a little picture. Slide 7, talk about a group that came out of this movement. What was their main goal for your chosen movement? So, again, civil rights movement, there was the NAACP, or if you chose the gay rights movement, you could talk about the I'm drawing a blank, but we definitely talked about a group. So, or the Chicano movement, the United Farm Workers, and so on. Okay, guys. And then lastly, 8. This is kind of about you and your significance to the movement. Okay. Slide 8. So, why did you choose this movement? Why is it important to you that this movement happened? And how far do you believe that your chosen minority group has come since the 1960s? And guys, this doesn't have to mean like, it speaks specifically to you. If you choose the gay rights movement, and maybe you just have a friend who, has benefited from the laws in the gay rights movement, or maybe like a family member, or so on. So just tell me why you chose it, why it's important to you that this movement happened, and to support LGBTQ community, or African American community, or women, or so on. All right, so tell me about it. So that's going to be our assignment for this week. Okay. Remember that if you have any questions, please, please, please reach out, ask me. Remember that we're not going to be able to meet on Wednesday, just again due to teachers being in school with the in-person students, and not being able to meet online with virtual students on Wednesday. So reach out if you need me. Hopefully this video helped you a little bit as far as what to do for this project. But please do well on this, guys. This is going to be worth a good amount. It's going to be a test grade. I'm going to put it in as a test grade, which tests in general are 50% of your overall grade. So if you do well on this, it will definitely bring your grade up. So do well on it. Ask questions if you have any. And other than that, I will see you all sometime next week. All right, guys. Have a good one.